Hello, Renate. Oh my God, I am so happy to see you. We just met 2 months ago in California, and here I have you straight from Singapore with love. Oh,
Yes, good morning from Singapore. It's a Monday morning here already, so I guess it's still a Sunday evening.
yeah,
Yeah, very happy to be on this call with you, Jola.
yeah, we are 12 hours away, girlfriend, and I'm so
Exactly. And 12 hours ahead.
yes, this time. I would love to introduce you today to an amazing lady. Her name is Renate Prandl. Renate is Austrian, but guess what? She lives currently for how many years? Quite a bit, right?
For about 25 years, nearly
Yes,
25 years.
and actually she's all over the place. If you follow her, guys, you'll see her. She's in Thailand, she's in all over the place. Oh, she was just in United States and God knows where. Well, anyhow, this is a special treat for everyone, because to meet somebody who is a published author, who got already 2 books out there and is working on a third one, who is not only a certified high performance coach, my body like myself, but also is an NLP certified coach, and also as one of the very few reps for Feldenkrais Method in Asia. You know, kudos to you, Renate.
Thank you. You make me blush.
No,
Very kind
no.
introduction. Thank you.
That's how I met Renate. So we met at a conference, a certification conference in California, and just so happened it was my birthday. And this lovely lady presented me with her book. And I was like, so amazing, with her written dedication. And then actually inside, there was another hidden message for me. It was a treat and a half. And this book called The Road to Success, basically, I let you talk about all of it, but it was one interesting thing. I was reading the beginning of it, and it said that, you know, to get to your destinations, you don't need just the destinations, you need the GPS. And that book was like that GPS, right? And I'm so admiring for it. But let's just rewind the clock a little bit. Let's go back to Austria, where you were teaching at the commercial college, correct? What were you teaching?
Yes, correct. I was teaching English for business and physical education. So I have a background in sports. I was an athlete myself, and I was also teaching English, but for business. So I was actually teaching business in the English language.
Amazing, right? Like for us, for who English is a second language, we always have appreciation for the fact that we can conduct this conversation just because we both have that language. Otherwise, yes, I do speak German as well, but for purpose of this audience, we use in English. So how interesting. So you were teaching, and what happened? You were in Austria, and now you're in Singapore doing totally different things.
Yeah, actually, I always wanted to live abroad, just to widen my horizon and experience different cultures and different ways of life. And so it just happened that because of a friend who was transferred to Singapore, my husband and I, we visited. We love the lifestyle. We love to do sports. We love to be in this multicultural environment. It's like New York used to be, they always call it the melting pot of nations. So Singapore is the smaller version of a melting pot of nations. So that was so fascinating. So we just decided to pack up our stuff and move here. And here we are,
Amazing.
25 years later.
Amazing. Did you manage to learn the language, the local language?
Not really. They have a very distinctive accent. And just learning Chinese here is just, I don't know, just like speaking the southern twang, like Mississippi English or something like this, or like, I don't know, the people in Liverpool or Manchester in England. Like, you know, it's really, really hard to understand. So I'm like, I gave up. I understand a little bit, but I have to confess, no, I do not speak Cantonese and I do not speak Mandarin.
That's okay. I don't either, so it's okay.
I just understand, you know, when they make a comment which is not so nice. but you can learn from body language, right? That's one of the communication skills we learn in high performance coaching as well. Like just listening, you know, to the tone and also to people's body language, right?
Absolutely. So Renate, looking back, when was the first time in your life when you were actually when you got interested in personal development, when there was this inkling in you telling you, I want to know more about myself, I want to just learn more?
I honestly, I cannot really pick a certain point in time. I just remember when I grew up, I was a very restrictive parents. So I always knew then I did not want that type of life. I did not know what I wanted. I just knew I did not want that kind of life, right? So I just stumbled through, I guess. I experienced different modalities, and I got into sports because this kind of gave me a little bit of like more self-confidence. And this was also probably some part of self or personal development, just being with like-minded people and having more fun and joy and working on what's possible compared to being at home where the focus was on what's not possible. So I think it was just a process, right? I cannot really pinpoint a time when I said, okay, now I'm into personal development. I really have to work on myself. I think it just momentum got bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. And then I stumbled into Feldenkrais and into NLP and Touch for Health and other modalities. So I just like adding on different modalities and building.
That made you who you are today. And then obviously after that it was high performance coaching. But I want to go back to your sports career. So I know you play tennis. I know you have like rabbit skier. And also from all of this, I know that you went through some health crisis, and that's where I guess the Feldenkrais came into play. Right?
Absolutely.
So please tell me, because honestly, as much as I know that, I let you talk about it. I don't want to like reveal this.
Yeah, the thing is, I was an athlete and I got injured, and this would be a long story what happened. But basically, I found out that I really couldn't help myself. I had issues with my knee and issues with my back. So twice in my life, I could barely move. So I could barely stand, could not walk, could not get out of bed. And I could not help myself doing all the traditional 100% sure things which worked. It's not about like doing Pilates and strengthen your abs if you have back pain. So I really could not help myself doing all the traditional ways of sports or exercise or rehab exercises. So I was looking around, and so I stumbled about 2000, I stumbled across the Feldenkrais Method. And I was fascinated because I noticed it was so different from all the other approaches, right? Because normally if you're injured, everybody focuses on the physical aspect, right? And they do repetition after repetition after repetition, which might be good for a while. But then the missing thing for me was you have to address your brain. Because if the brain does not change, if the movement patterns in the brain don't change, no change happens again in your movement. So the Feldenkrais method is basically you work with the body, you work with movement, gentle movement. Sometimes we touch the person, sometimes we just ask questions and let them experiment. So there's feedback to the brain, new pathways are created. So we train the brain and the nervous system basically. So the impulses go back to the body and the movement gets changed. And I thought that it was so fascinating because there are so many possibilities how you can change the movement. And also it's not like a traditional exercise program where we show people a certain movement, because when we show something, everybody focuses on something different. Everybody sees something different and starts to imitate. So it's really guiding the movement, finding the ease, what makes sense. And this is when the body or the brain remembers. And this is when new pathways, new ways of sitting, new ways of walking, when they get downloaded into your brain, it's like in a computer, right? A new program. And then you can sit, walk, run differently. You can move out of pain. So this was so fascinating for me. And then I'm like, okay, how can I learn this? And it was a little bit of a challenge because it's still one of the so-called best kept secrets. Yeah. And I was already living in Singapore at that time. So I just saw that there was a 4-year training program just starting in the US. So I like, okay, so I applied, I got accepted. And so for the next 4 years, I went to the US 4 times per year to do this training. So it's very intense, like in high performance coaching. The magic happens after the training when you apply, when you do the things, you explore, you learn, you detect. And so I got certified in 2004, and I've been using Feldenkrais moves every single day. And this helped me overcome my injuries. Yeah.
You never mentioned, Renate, which I have to tell the audience, that you had a full hip replacement surgery.
Yes, I'm a hipster.
Hipster. And this is a girl that works out every single day. She plays tennis. She takes helicopter to a mountainside and she skis from high mountains. She freaking runs every single day. She does all these amazing things. I guess it is related because of all your, exercises with the Feldenkrais, right? That's what helped you?
Absolutely. So Feldenkrais is not a traditional exercise. So what I usually do, and I teach this to my clients, my sports clients, my Feldenkrais clients, my high performance coaching clients, to really set yourself up for the day. So you can really start to activate your brain, your nervous system while still in bed. And it's simple things like, you're on your back, legs up in the air. You just, do some cycling and just notice whether you push more with one leg, with the other. So you just find out how far off you are from being centered and aligned. Because if you are not centered, this is when injuries and when pain happens, right? Next one is you just still on your back, feet, legs are bent, feet on the bed, on a mattress, and you just start tilting legs sideways, and not just doing it exercise-wise. So you tilt, say, your legs to one side, both of them, and just notice how far up in your spine you can feel it, vertebra by vertebra by vertebra. Sometimes I say it's like playing the piano, so playing the keys. So you activate your spine, you activate your brain, and a few other things. It takes less than 5 minutes. That's how you can set yourself up for the day. Like in high performance coaching, because I like those two, they go so nicely together. When we say set an alarm every 50 minutes or so to get out of your chair and stretch and move, it's the same. During the day, notice how you sit, notice your breathing, just tiny little things. Do a pelvic clock, moving like your pelvis while sitting like on a clock, activating your spine, activating your brain. So there are lots of different things you can do during the day, which are not traditional exercise, but they really help you stay active and healthy and aligned and centered.
So which type of injuries or health issues would you say this Feldenkrais method helps the most?
Well, it helps everyone. Everyone can improve, but there are 3 main areas my clients come to see. Well, how should I put it? 3 main areas, it works really, really great. First of all, it's athletes, whether they are injured. So it's they can add this onto their rehab exercise, so to retrain the brain in different movement patterns, because rehab is not movement patterns. It's just activating the muscles, for example, or activating the joints. So for rehab to get back faster after injury, it's also great to fine-tune the movement for an athlete to prevent injury. What else? The other thing is, let's see, my brain. It's very early. I have not really had my my coffee after an intensive weekend. So another group of people I work with very intensively recently is stroke survivors. And this is so important to really activate different areas in the brain, to replace areas which were affected by the stroke so that they can regain functioning movement. It's about function. It's not about just moving, it's about functioning, about walking, about bending, to help them, live an independent life. So right now I'm working with a friend of mine. He's 52. He just had a stroke. He's paralyzed on the left side. So I see him in hospital nearly every day, and I do a little bit of Feldenkrais stimulation with him. So yesterday, I think after 10 days, they made him stand the first time. So I'm going to work on his feet a little bit today. So it's for stroke survivors to really regain functionality and really activate different areas of the brain to take over the damaged areas of the brain. I think this is so important and so overlooked. And number 3 is lots of my clients come to see me because of back pain, and they have tried everything, right? So I'm like, okay, now help me do the magic of Feldenkrais. And basically, we are not fixing back pain. We are just helping them change their movement patterns. So the way they sleep, the way they walk, and very often the back pain, unless it's really an injury in the back area, right? It starts somewhere else. Maybe the way they hold the shoulders the whole time. Maybe the way they stand and put weight on a foot. So that means if they have more weight on one foot, the whole body has to sort of counterbalance. And the back is one of the first areas that goes when people are stressed as well. So, so we help them detect that they can, and my goal is to really help them detect, when they are going towards like, oh, if I sit like this for another 5 hours, my back will not be very happy, right? So it's about self-help, that people can help themselves, that they have tools, what they can do during a meeting, they are all busy. What can you do to prevent the backache or to ease it, and to move better and freer? And I know you want to ask me something. Go ahead.
Ask how is high performance? You said it goes really well together with Feldenkrais. How do you use it together with Feldenkrais? Because you also coach your high performance clients the way I do, but you are incorporating both methods together. How do you do that?
Well, both. Basically, let's start from the Feldenkrais perspective. Feldenkrais, because as I said, we are not changing or training the body. Even so, we do body movements. We are training the brain, right? So it has to do with the mindset, self-belief, and in traditional rehab, when people are injured, it's everyone focuses on the negative stuff. Whereas in Feldenkrais, we focus on what's already there, what's working. And this is very similar to high performance coaching, right? We focus on what's there today and we move forward to the future. We don't dwell on the past. Like when people are injured, everybody talks about the pain. Everybody talks about like, how was it before? And so for me, it's like making this shift from the past, to the future. So this is so similar. Basically, it's the same, right? So we move them out from where they are stuck. We move them forward to where they want to be. Whether they want to walk again, or in high performance coaching, maybe they want to be more productive again. They want to be a better leader. So we move them out of the misery into the future. So this is...
If I would to sum up this, I would say just like Renate, she used her full hip replacement surgery, which was her roadblock, and she made it a stepping stone towards her full, vibrant, and fully active life, right? That's so awesome. Renate, one more question for you. I know you have a busy day, but I know that you spent just 3 days right now in a very intense boot camp working on your next book. Can you tell me a little bit about it? What it's going to be about? What's the title? When it's coming up? And whatever.
Yeah, I'm really, really very excited, as you can tell. And I spent the whole weekend, 3 days basically, going over this new upcoming book with my possible publisher. And So the first two books were co-written, co-authored, so they were chapters. So this book is really my full own book where I go much deeper. And the title is something around either your butt is too big, or or why your butt affects your success. And butt with one T, right? Not the buttocks, but the butt. So because I hear this all the time, all those excuses. Yeah, Renate, I would do this, but Renate, you don't understand because blah, 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 but. So all those excuses preventing people taking their life to the next level. And it might be geared to managers, C-level, type CEOs, people who are in this grind of success, but it's money, more companies, completely kind of ignoring the health, because without health, wealth is nothing, right? So this will be around how to create a successful life at the next level, because even CEOs, they have a next level, and dealing with all those buts, small or big, but with one T.
I like that. That's really cool.
So around that, yeah. And it's
see the cover of the book.
Yeah, me too. If you have any ideas, please let me know. So as I said, we just spent the last 3 days brainstorming, and I wrote the first table of contents, and I had a layout. So this is the first version. So going through this and make it really a book of value for the busy person. That's not like, oh, another book. So it's really something tangible, some stuff they can really apply, even so they are very busy and deal with a butt. It will be sometimes. Pardon?
Publish this in English?
Yes, it will be in English. Yeah. Not in German. German language is too complicated. No, it will be in English, and like the other books, and it will be 2020, because it's about 6 to 12 months to get a book published. With all the stuff, it takes some time. But my publisher, he really suggested that I give 50 free copies of my upcoming book to interested people. So I have not set up the link yet, but I will do it in the next 2 days. So if you're interested, I think it's of value for maybe for your tribe as well, to get access to a free book on how they can level up despite all the buts. I will send you the link that you can share with your tribe as well, so they can register, and once the book is up, they will get a free copy of it.
Thank you very much. That's really, really awesome. Renate, I know you have a super busy day ahead of you. So please tell me just at the very end, if people would like to, find you on social media, let's say Instagram or Facebook, or if you could give them a handle for your website, that would be wonderful.
Yeah, so Instagram is, my name is Prandl Renate, one word. So my family name, Prandlren, Renate, ATE. And Facebook is renate.prandl number 1. This is the one where I usually go and do my Facebook lives, and some all the other information and how they can download the books which are already available is renate-prandl, mykajabi.com. So these are just, reach out via any of those links to me, send me a private message if you guys want to learn more about Feldenkrais, and also how to find maybe a Feldenkrais practitioner in your area. In the US, there are a lot. I was trained in the US. I'm certified by the North American Guild. So I can help you find someone near to you who can work with you, whether you're an athlete, whether you are a stroke survivor, or whether you have back pain, or you had back pain your whole life and you are finally fed up and want to take action to get rid of it.
I am so glad you say that, because, I feel somebody probably needed to hear this message. My mom had a stroke and she passed away, but it was something that I wish maybe if I knew that, maybe I could have helped, so somebody hopefully find this really, really valuable, and I certainly did. And I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart for your time. And
anytime.
And I will, chat with you again on social media. So go on with your day. Thanks very, very much, and I'll talk to you soon.
Thanks for having me, Jola. You enjoy the rest of your Sunday, and best regards from very sunny Singapore today.
Sunny, finally, that weather is
Finally, it's sunny.
Okay, bye, Renate.
Okay, bye. See you guys. Thank you.